Hello. Hello. Test, test. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? This is the blade. Now? Check, check. The brown building in the back. You don't want to go into that porta potty. That's disgusting. नहीं बाहर कर दो आप नहीं कर रहे आज करेंगे तो BOLINGBROOK versus Kings will love
Kings won the toss. They chose to bat first. Julian! Jules!
Can we please have a representative from BBCC to come up and finish up the roster? We are missing a couple of names. Second game of the day being slightly delayed, folks. We're gonna get underway momentarily. Teams to the center, please. Check, 1, 2, 3, check. Welcome to the second day of the inaugural BPL's Liberty Cup T20 Championship. Second game gets underway. Kings 11 versus Bolingbrook. Exciting game one earlier. Change of fate for Incredibles after having dominated the chase against Bolingbrook last night. Comes second against the combined 11. And at one point, they were struggling to get close to the mark where they actually ended up falling 30-some short only. Credit to their lower order batsmen for chipping in and taking the game closer, but they never looked to be in the chase after combined had put up a competitive score on the board. Welcome, Jamie.
Thanks, Rick. Yeah, certainly a change of fortunes for both teams in the first match this morning. But the game that's about to start in front of us, Kings 11, they were dominant in their first game yesterday morning. And Bolingbrook obviously were disappointing last night, so it will be interesting to see if we see more of the same or if, again, we'll see changing fortunes for these two teams. But you have to say, certainly on paper and going by yesterday's performance, Kings 11 heavy favourites here. They've got a number of big names in their lineup, the likes of Damien Ebanks, Sunny Sahal, Jaskaran Malhotra, Jesse Singh, Adil Bhatti, to name just a few.
Thumping win against the combined 11 in the opening match yesterday, winning by 10 wickets. Certainly favorites in this one. However, Bolingbrook having a lot of experience and exposure to these conditions. Perhaps one of the teams that has played here the most. They would be disappointed from their last night's effort in terms of being able to put up such a good score and making the opponent chase under lights. Bit of a do factor was certainly in play. Shouldn't be a problem in game two for these guys.
Sunny Sahal on strike, right? So this the match officials for this game. Vijay and Martin are the two men in the middle. Mushir Laliwala, the third umpire. And it's going to be Ahmad to open the bowling for Bolingbrook. Sunny Sahal on strike. Damien Ebanks at the non-striker's end. And I'm sure these guys will be looking for 220 plus. Thoughts, Rick?
Certainly the on-par score, as we have seen, has gone up and up as this series has progressed.
First ball pulled into the onside. There's going to be runs, at least a couple. In fact, two will be all they score. Good shot by Sahal, getting into position nice and quickly.
This opening pair was sensational in their game one.
Yeah, I believe they won by 10 wickets, did they not?
They certainly did.
So both of these batsmen yet to be dismissed in the tournament. So thanks to our sponsors. There's this one punched into the offside. Just a single this time. Yeah, thanks to our sponsors, Liberty Medical Centre, Pepsi and Gatorade. Thanks to their support. And if there's any of the representatives from those companies out there watching this feed, we just really want to pass on our hearty thanks. And I guess a hearty congratulations for helping to make this tournament happen. So far, it's been a fantastic event, and I'm sure it's only going to get better year on year. This, of course, being the inaugural BPL Liberty Cup. Ebanks now left-hander, tall left-handed player on strike. This one keeping a little bit low. Surprisingly, we've seen the bounce has been pretty true throughout the first 2 days. But a single nonetheless into the leg side.
Damien played in a stellar's inning yesterday, scoring 55 off of 22 at the strike rate of 250.
Can't ask for much more than that, can you?
Ably supported by Sunny on the other side, who scored 42 off of 28 at the strike rate of 150.
And a good example for youngsters watching. Have a look at how still Sunny Sahal is at the crease. Gives himself every opportunity to get into good position to play the ball. So important as a batsman to keep your head still as long as possible. Give yourself best opportunity of sighting the ball. And just have a look at this delivery. Once he's into his stance, how still he keeps himself, and particularly his head. Once he sights the ball, then he moves in to play his shot. Great example of batsmanship. Pretty good over this so far. Just the 4 runs conceded, 5 deliveries gone. Ahmad putting the ball in good areas. This time, bit of width outside off stump, played away over the infield. That will be the first boundary for Kings 11 and the first boundary for Sunny Sahal. That will end the first over. 8 without loss after 1 Kings 11. Solid start, nothing too flashy, but they'll be happy that they haven't lost a wicket. I'm sure Bolingbrook would be pretty happy as well that they've kept the run rate under 10 at this stage. Not sure what it is about you, Rick, but you've always got these hecklers in the back of the commentary box trying to tell you what to say. And yet you're doing a fantastic job.
I carry some fans around.
I can only conclude that it's jealousy.
Abdullah Adil.
The first one was Salman, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Abdullah Adil, not in my team list. Is he one of the new ones?
No.
So Abdullah Adil, the new batsman, he'll be bowling to Ebanks. Oh, and a half chance, sharp chance. A low full toss driven straight back at the bowler. He got two hands to it, but it just burst straight through the hands.
Tiny reaction time. Half a chance. Put down. Could be costly.
You can't afford to drop chances against batsmen of this calibre. They'll make you pay.
So Abdullah didn't play yesterday, right?
Stepping across his stumps, looking to whack it away on the leg side, but Abdullah slipped it down the leg side and it's been called wide. So another run to the total, another ball that has to be bowled again. Well, he connects with this one. Forget about it. That is out of here. And I suggest that the umpires might be calling for a new ball. That has gone deep into the jungle. Crocodiles and snakes perhaps will be the only ones that might find that ball. And that's the first maximum. And yes, the umpires are calling for a new ball already. So
As exciting as it sounds, Jamie, this isn't Auckland, New Zealand. In terms of those animals in these woods, we just have deers.
well, bit of trivia for you. New Zealand has no animals like that. We have nothing. We have no snakes. The most dangerous animal in New Zealand is the domestic dog, and I'm not kidding.
Very interesting. It being such close to Australia, I would think it has some similar attributes in terms of species.
No, completely different, and I've got a theory as to why that's the case. God put New Zealanders in one country, and he thought, I like these people, so I'm going to keep them safe. He put Australians in Australia, and he was like, not a fan of these guys. I'm going to fill their country with dangerous animals that will kill them.
But if you go back
That's
thousands
my
years,
theory.
wasn't just one country and the island drifted away?
Well, probably. God was like, man, there's this group of people that are really cool, but they're stuck on this continent with these other fellas, so I'll just create the Tasman Ocean between them. There we go. Put all the good rugby players in one side and all the good cricketers in the other. Of course, the Aussies, much better cricketers than New Zealand in general. They occasionally let us win a game.
No, that's the number for the batsman. The other one has 100 as a number, but I can't put 3 digits in here.
That's sunny, yep.
So a big shot. He hasn't quite got all of it, but he'll get a couple of runs to the wide long off region. Of course, we're within the first 6 overs, the power play, so only 2 players allowed outside the 40-yard circle. Currently, they've got a long on and a deep backward square leg. So wide open spaces on the offside of the field, which Damien Ebanks was looking to exploit with that shot.
It's played into the winds. If you compare that to the last shot, it was just a flawless and sped towards to the onside. such as this one.
A good piece of fielding in the deep. He got a nasty bounce, but stuck out one hand and picked it cleanly out of the air to keep the scoring to 1. Lucky to get away with that was Adil. Big full toss on leg stump. Whipped away by Banks, but he picked out the fielder in the deep.
Hey, Joey, come to Joey. Joey, you like the commentary?
Yeah, so the only flaw in your theory there is that with all the deadly animals, the weak are killed off, the strong survive. They're all soft.
Good point. I've had a counter to my theory, and it was a very good point, I must admit. As we see another boundary over the offside, this time Sunny Sahal. So I might share that riposte with you, although I'm the man with the mic, so really I can say what I want. But no, the response was that, of course, with all those deadly animals, in Australia, the weak get killed off and it leaves a strong and robust population, whereas New Zealand, with no deadly animals, all the soft survive. Pretty good theory. My mum would agree with you, Julian. She thinks I'm a bit of a softie.
Stylishly played by Sunny into the covers for 2, making use of the good pace. Finishing up second at 24 for no loss, going at about 12 and over.
Scorer, did you get a 7-ball over that last one? 6. Dot wide 62142. Dot.
Salman returns for his second from the commentary pavilion end. Last night's numbers of his were 4 overs for 54.
Not pretty reading, really. But he started well here. This time going down the leg side, that will be signalled wide. So another extra. So it's strange. It kind of seems serene. It doesn't feel like they're really going too hard at the ball, yet they've already got 25 off 2 overs.
But not so much effort.
Exactly.
Dab down to the short fine leg for 1.
So dangerous proposition this for Bolingbrook. If they can't break this partnership early, then the damage that these two can inflict could be terminal. Of course, the other risk is that you get one of these two out and someone of the quality of Jiska and Malhotra comes in next, just as damaging. And then there's Adil Bhatti as well. Plenty of other firepower in the shed. So ball in the air, but completely misread by the fielder. Ends up dropping over his head for a single. So another half chance goes begging. They really need to take one of these chances in the next couple of overs.
Coming back to the strong opening pair point, Jamie. This could be a problem as well if your middle order batsmen don't get exposed, because conditions in such tight format leagues and getting used to this can be really important.
Yeah, good point. I've seen that in previous tournaments at different places around the country where a team in the preliminary matches has been so dominant that their middle order has never been exposed. Then they come to the knockout matches, they play against tougher opposition, lose a couple of early wickets, and middle order's consequently out of form because, like you say, they haven't been exposed to these conditions. And then they struggle to get through to the later rounds of the tournament. So you make a really good point. And perhaps these guys can, I don't know, fake an injury, retire hurt, give their middle order some batting.
Well taken.
Or you could get out. So there you go. That partnership has been broken. Mahmood Chowdhury taking a good catch at backward point. And Damien Ebanks. Short cameo ends, and he's been dismissed for the first time in the tournament.
That charge down the track didn't make it appear that that's where he was planning to go. But a very well judged catch in the end.
Yeah, it came relatively fast and relatively low, but he tumbled down to his right, clutched it with two hands. And that will bring, looks like, Malhotra out to the middle.
Two were dropped and one was taken, so Bolingbrook has certainly been creating opportunities from those balls.
Malhotra. Jaskaran. So the first wicket Kings 11 have lost in the tournament to date. And again, a good delivery by Salman. He's really done a good job for his team so far. 1 for 11 with one ball left in the second over. And what a stark contrast from last night, where he got taken to the cleaners by the Incredibles. And a good finish to what was another, or a successful over, I should say. 1 for 11 off 2 for Ahmad. Super effort from him so far. And after 3 overs, 27 for 1. Kings 11 winning the toss, selecting to bat first against Bolingbrook. Bolingbrook fighting hard.
Wonderful over by Salman. I also thought he started off his attack actually right on the money. His length and line were on point except for the last delivery. And it wasn't actually a bad ball either that Sonny played him on for a 4. Abdullah to continue from the far end.
Sahal flicking into the leg side, flicking powerfully. Has he got enough on it to get it to the boundary? No, he hasn't. Pulls up short. And they just get a couple of runs. Big shot down the ground this time. Has he got? Yes, he has. He's cleared long off comfortably for a Liberty Cup T20 maximum. Vijay Malela
Massive
lifts
six.
his arms into the air to signal 6.
Almost as straight as an arrow. Bowlers hating the most when they get hit over the head. And this was a massive 6 all the way over the hill. Would have been 6 in any ground.
टीवी पे आ रहा है बॉक्स
लाला चिंगी लाला
एक और स्क्रीन आई है अभी देख रहा हूँ मैं मेरे पास आती है आई है
Again, finding the gap on the onside, just the single this time. The heavy grass prevents it from going too far past the infield.
हाँ अभी चेंज हो रही है परफेक्ट
Just
Slashed
around.
into the cover region for 1.
Yeah, Malhotra opens his account. Just having a look at the points table here. Currently, Kings 11, 1 win from their 1 match. And their net run rate, well, looks a bit strange there, to be honest. It's showing their net run rate as negative for some reason. I'm sure that's wrong. As we see a nice shot again from Sahal into the leg side, and that will go for 4. So an expensive over. But Kings 11 well ahead on net run rate, I'm sure. I'm sure it would be well into the positive. The Incredibles, they currently sit in second. 1 win from 2 matches. Their net run rate is positive .1297. Combined 11 sit on third. Their net run rate negative 1.8559. And Bolingbrook, of course, currently sit bottom of the table. No wins from 1 match.
Last game got it wide open, didn't it?
Absolutely. It's going to be a good battle between Incredibles and Combined 11 to see who can get an extra win somewhere in their remaining matches to try and move into second place in the table. Single off the last ball of that over. 15 runs from it. And currently we're seeing a tale of 2 ends. We've got Adil at one end who's gone 2 overs, none for 31. And Ahmed at the other who's 2 overs, 1 wicket for 11 runs. So Ahmad needs someone at the other end to partner him to try and stop these Kings 11 batsmen from getting away on them.
Yeah, Kings, despite losing their aggressive top order opening batsman, still on top in terms of the run rate. 4 overs, over 10 per over. Going back to the points table and the net run rate, if anything, Kings would have been on top given the thumping that they gave in their first game against Combine and winning it by 10 wickets.
Although if you look at the matches remaining, Combined 11 really have the advantage because their remaining matches against Bolingbrook, who I'm sure they would back themselves to beat. Whereas the Incredibles, who currently sit in second place, are yet to face Kings 11. As we see Ahmad continue. And again, another dot ball. It's bowling good tight lines. So if things go according to, say, what we think might happen, let's say Combined continue their good form from today and manage to knock over Bolingbrook tomorrow, that means they will have 2 wins from their 3 games. And Incredibles, they'll have to pull something special out of the bag to beat Kings 11, but horses for courses, they'll probably lose that match, which means that combined 11 would go through in second place to the semi-finals.
I concur. For Incredibles to make a comeback, they just need to find some inspiration from their last night's game. Combined certainly came back, and it's interesting to see how body language changes the whole contest. From the get-go, we got to notice how agile and athletic they were and how pumped up off of every single wicket that they got against Incredibles.
Big shot down the ground.
Come on,
And it lands just to the left of us in the commentary tent. And that is a Liberty Cup maximum.
Beautifully struck, gone with the wind, way above our head in the commentary box.
How would I caught that?
So Sahal another aggressive shot off the inside half of the bat, but he's going to get a couple into the deep. Had to really scramble to make his ground at the far end. Good throw, might have had him in trouble. Doesn't have the longest legs in the world, so he has to do a little bit of extra work than some taller players to get between the sticks. But what was a good start to the over has been spoiled somewhat by those 2 shots from Sunny Sahal. As Salman loses his run up this time.
Just for the sake of making the speculation and the contrast interesting, Jamie, if this game were to go to Bolingbrook's favor today, the table opens up even wider, and it really makes it for some interesting contest tomorrow, including tonight's game.
Well, another good shot through the offside, just using the pace of the delivery and angling it into the gap at cover point, and they'll settle for 2. The other thing that could very realistically happen is Kings 11 win this game, so 2 from 2, top of the table. Kings 11 beat the Incredibles, they're 3 from 3. Forget about it, top of the table, they're through. Incredibles finished with 1 win from 3 games, and then Bolingbrook beats Combine, meaning Incredibles, Combine, and Bolingbrook all end on 1 win, and it comes down to net run rate. That is very realistically possible. Another powerful shot through the offside. This time it will get to the fence. Another boundary to spoil Salman's figures. He's now conceded 25 in his 3 overs. Still a pretty good effort, but 14 from that one, all from the blade of Sunny Sahal, and he has raced away to 42 of just 19 deliveries. If we glance across to the other pool, of course the other pool only has 3 players, 3 teams I should say, and we'll see the second match from that pool later on tonight. Freedom Fighters, they are 1 from 1 in ARC currently.
I'm all
None
for the
from
upsets,
one.
however. Nobody predictably walks in and convincingly wins every single game, making it a good event for the spectators, the fans online, as well as our sponsors. So far, it's been a good turnout.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure on paper and from what we've seen so far out in the middle, the smart money is on Kings 11 and Freedom Fighters to meet in the final come Tuesday. But we know things don't always go according to plan in these sort of tournaments. And certainly the likes of the Incredibles and Combine have shown that they're capable of some big performances. And there's no reason why either of those teams couldn't, well, Combine have already lost to Kings 11, but Incredibles could potentially knock over Kings 11 if they pull a performance out of the bag. And also the Freedom Fighters in the other pool, even though they're stacked with West Indies and CPL and National USA players, there's no reason why they couldn't have an off game and lose a match.
Stacked up on paper, both of them. Definitely.
You don't win tournaments on paper, though.
Absolutely.
So we're going to see our first bowling change. Spin introduced for the first time. And it's Rashid Afzal from the far end to bowl his leg breaks and googlies.
Flighted delivery, easily taken.
Wow, that's a big breakthrough. First delivery of the new over. And Jaskaran Malhotra has decided he's not going to wait to have a look. He's going to try and smack Afzal out of the park straight away. And it's caught the outside edge. Just a basic leg break, I think, which has spun a little bit.
Classic inviting delivery, wasn't it?
It was. He pitched it up. Took a swing at it. Got an outside edge, and Salman has taken the catch. Salman Ahmad, of course, the man who's been bowling pretty well.
Quickly back to the prediction topic, Jamie. One of the under-discussed team, given the numbers that you have in front of us. Spare a thought for ARC's prospects.
Well, ARC only have one more match in the round robin. All they've got to do is win that game. Swapnil Salvi is the new batsman.
Got a nice little bubble thing to protect the shark whale.
I'm still getting it off this. But
He's really trying hard not to, although this is a metal.
right.
Clamshell plastic.
Oh, and straight through the fielder's legs. Again, an expensive drive to the bowling of Afzal. Deceived somewhat in the flight. Inside out, more out than in. Outside edge, that is, but gets a couple of runs.
Intent shown from the get-go. First one ramping pretty hard.
So Sunny Sahal needs to look to bat deep now with the loss of those 2 wickets. He's the informed batsman. Looking to glide it away, but there was a man stationed there, so no run. It's been a pretty good over so far from Afzal, only conceding 3 runs and picking up the key wicket of Malhotra. Short, pulled into the gap. Man at mid-on has to run around and they'll be able to jog back for a couple.
Comfortable 2 taken.
So they're still going on average at more than 10 runs and over. So there's no issues in terms of scoring rate. They'd just be perhaps slightly concerned that they've already lost 2 wickets at this stage, and 2 of their more explosive batsmen are back in the hutch.
Such is the importance of rotating the strike and not really having any pressure build on you after you lose a couple of early wickets, and these 2 have shown that thus far.
Yeah, there's certainly no panic. And that's the end of a very good over. 5 runs conceded, the wicket taken. Afzal, the first over of his spell. 61 for 2 after 6. And just once again, at the end of the power play, we'd like to thank the sponsors of the Liberty Cup T20 tournament. Liberty Medical Centre, Pepsi, Gatorade, and of course Cricket Clubs and the production crew guys for bringing us this live feed.
Thank you.
Sunny Sohal battering his score from yesterday by 2.
Shayan Ali is the new bowler, so a double change. Bit of a breeze drifting across the ground now. It was pretty still this morning. That breeze is giving the players and spectators a bit of a break from the heat. It's a pretty warm day here in Bolingbrook.
Second new bowler for Bolingbrook that didn't play the first game, or at least didn't get to bowl.
Big shot this from Salvi. Took a big stride down the pitch when he saw that ball was pitched up. Got it right into his hitting arc, and he smoked it over wide long on for another Liberty Cup T20 maximum. 67 for 2 now.
Wind on his side on that beautifully struck shot. To give folks online an idea in terms of what the wind.
And this one was dragged down. That's going to be back-to-back 6s. That's what can happen sometimes as a leg break bowler. It just kind of sticks in the hand. And that is... Well, that was just a rubbish delivery, and it got what it deserved, really. Well, it certainly wasn't where he was intending to bowl it. Those of you out there have ever attempted to bowl leg break for any period of time will know just how difficult it can be. So you can perhaps forgive the bowler one slip up like that.
Small margin of error indeed.
This time over pitched. It'll be interesting to see if it's given as wides. No, just buys. So already a costly over 13 from the first 3 deliveries. It's time straight to the man. A backward point. And for those of you who are watching who are in the Illinois area, or perhaps you know people in this area, encourage them to come down to the ground. Fantastic scenes here. Full toss, dispatched. In fact, there's a player out there. I didn't see him. But it's gone for 4 anyway, and that's 50 for Sunny Sahal. 50 off just 25 deliveries, 5 4s, 2 6s. And he's continued on his merry way despite the loss of 2 partners at the other end. Hasn't slowed him down any. This time wide down the leg side. Signalled wide by umpire Martin.
What a superb form he is in.
Short, pulled, 4 more. No, it's not. It's pulling up. And they'll just settle for 2. So 20 runs off the over in the end. Very costly one for Bolingbrook. And at the end of 7, Kings 11 find themselves 81 for 2. Salvi 13 not out of 4. Sunny Sahal 52 not out of 26. And Ali 20 runs came off the over. Of course, one of them doesn't go against his bowling because it was a bye. So 1 over for 19.
Heavy on the onside, and particularly from this particular end as well, due to perhaps the wind factor that these two must have already learned.
And it continues to be a tale of 2 ends for Bolingbrook. While one bowler is going well at one end, at the other end the bowler's just releasing all the pressure. And if we have a look at the scorecard, we had Ahmed bowling from one end. He got 1 for 25 and bowled pretty well. His partner at the other end went for 31 from 2 overs. Afzal has started really well from his end, 1 for 5 of his 1 over, and then Ali at the other end has gone for 19. So they need to try and bowl in tandem, otherwise they're going to be facing a pretty stiff total to chase come the end of 20 overs. Short, pulled, he's found the gap, and that's gone for 4. It's bounced just inside the rope. So Afzal, that's his first loose delivery really, and he's been punished.
Impressive pull off the back foot. Kings 11 cruising along at 11.86 run rate. 200 looks to be on card, Jamie?
Certainly on the cards at this stage. Well over 200 if they keep going at this run rate. Wickets are like gold at this stage for Bolingbrook. Short. Oh, and a chance goes down. It's burst through the hands. We'll end up at long off for just a single. So another half chance. The third half chance goes bigging.
Would you have even attempted to take that catch if you were 48?
Probably wouldn't have moved quick enough to even get close to it.
So, credit to him.
Full, driving, another single. So once you get a boundary off the first ball of the over, as they did in this over, it's just a matter of milking the remaining 5 deliveries and you end up with close to 10 runs and over. It's the luxury of a boundary early in the over. I'll get another single here from the misfield.
Bit of rain in the forecast for tomorrow afternoon.
It's not what we want to hear. This time beating the outside edge. Moral victory for Afzal. Well, I'll have to make sure I've got my Duckworth-Lewis calculator handy.
You bet. But weather has been absolutely wonderful.
It has been. Sorry, Duckworth-Lewis Stern, of
It's
course.
DLS now.
This time punching it off the back foot. Should get a couple there as it's wide of the man at cover sweeper. And they will, which means the over will end with 9 runs having come from it. And at the end of 8, 90 for 2 the score. Salvi 19, Sahal 55. Afzal 2 overs, 1 for 14 now.
Picking your brains just a little bit on that Duckworth-Lewis Stern calculation, Jamie. Lately, we have seen few matches in Champions Trophy being affected by rain, and favor has typically gone to the side batting second.
Yeah, that's always the case. Side batting second has the advantage because they know what the target's going to be. So if there's rain forecast for the second innings, they can have a look at the past scores. They know exactly where they need to be at any given point in time. They know if they lose a wicket that the past score will jump up by this much. So it's certainly an advantage to bat second, which is why I've got to question AB de Villiers' captaincy, particularly in that match. I think it was against Sri Lanka, where he opted to bat first knowing that rain was coming, and they ended up getting, I think it was Sri Lanka, I can't remember.
It was Pakistan.
Pakistan, my apologies. They ended up losing the game comfortably in the end, but they certainly should have chosen to bowl first in that match, knowing that rain was in the forecast.
Given a huge fan of his, I hardly question anything that AB does, but I would question the ICC's scheduling in that part of the region around that time.
Sure. AB, no doubt, one of the best players ever in terms of batting. Not sure he's the best captain that South Africa's got at the moment. I'd have Faf du Plessis as captain for all formats. I just think AB tends to get a little bit rattled in pressure situations, and they need him to score runs, and when he's captain, his output as a batsman actually drops, whereas Faf du Plessis' output as a batsman actually goes up when he's a captain.
Seen that far too often from such good players losing their talent and not be able to actually carry on the good batting averages that they do once they become captain. I think Hashim might have been an example for just a little bit under test, and he rightfully let it go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nothing against the people, it's just that some respond differently to the pressure of leadership. And you've just got to acknowledge that fact that, hey, perhaps I'm not cut out to be the captain of the side. This guy is. And move on. Like New Zealand did it with Ross Taylor and Brendan McCullum. McCullum clearly responded better to the challenge of being the leader of the side. And look at the success they had. You even look at the West Indies. Okay, Darren Sammy, a lot of people would have argued that he wasn't the greatest player in the world and possibly didn't deserve his place in the side as a player, but he was the sort of person that could galvanise a group of players around him, and his personal performance improved when he was captain.
Precisely. Exhibited in PSL Season 2. Captaining Zalmi. Seeing them through.
Absolutely, and what a great tournament that is. Pakistan Super League. That continues to grow. It will rival the Big Bash in the IPL as a big shot down the ground. That's going to carry all the way over long on for 6. Swapnil Salvi, his 3rd maximum. He's raced to 27 off 13. The end of another over, 98 for 2. 9 overs gone. Still scoring well over 10 runs and over.
Talk about return on investment on these local franchisees that have been such a need of the hour for the international cricketing community to grow. Looking at Shadab Khan, prospects like Hassan Ali, Fakhr Zaman coming in and making an impact right off the bat. I would say they got their money worth, the organizers and the sponsors.
Imran is the new bowler.
What's his name, sir?
Imran Chima.
Imran Chima.
It wasn't Imran Chima.
Yeah, Aziz Chima.
Aziz or Rajaz, yeah, it wasn't Imran.
Big shot down the ground. That'll be 6. And yes, it cannons into the sight screen at the far end. So Sunny Sahal also hits his third. Moves up to 61, and that's the team 100 for Kings 11. They move to 104 for 2. That'll be another one. Back-to-back sixes, this time slogged away over mid-wicket. Attempted slower delivery gone wrong.
Chima's the captain. Captain's moving to captain's ball.
Really?
It's captain against captain right now.
So, captain versus captain at the moment. And so far, captain of Kings 11 has landed a couple of jabs to the face.
What a wonderful shot that was. Wind, what wind?
Hat-trick in this tournament so far. That's a white balls hat-trick. And let's see.
It was double hat-trick,
Six is a six.
Oh, you.
Powerful.
Oh, you got me.
Back cut, misfield at point, enables them to get a single. And that's Nelson. 1-1-1 the score for any Australians. That's, oh no, sorry, it's not an unlucky number for Australians. It's unlucky for the English. 1-1-1. So if you're an Englishman, apparently you're meant to lift your feet off the ground to break the curse.
Kind of like 13 for Americans.
Yeah. Or 87 for Australians. 13 runs short of 100. That's their unlucky number. This time they're pushing hard to come back for 2. They realise the man was deep on the fence on the offside. He had a lot of ground to cover to get to that ball, so they were able to easily come back for 2. And another powerful shot over the offside. That might have gone all the way. In fact, it has. The third 6 in the over. Goodness gracious, 22 runs scored off Chima. And I think perhaps the captain of Kings 11 won that particular battle. He's on 76 now from 34 as Sunny Sahal. Solely off on 28 off 14.
No, actually, I lost it too.
I'm still connected.
You are?
I might have to take the ball with me.
I'm connected, but no internet.
So it must be from Verizon. Verizon's gone down. Verizon has exploded.
Did you get the internet?
So another ball goes missing. The bag of balls gets run out to the middle yet again. And Mir Ali watches his bank account go down yet again with another missing ball.
This could be really challenging, Jamie, for Skipper to have been cleanly hit such massively and sort of demoralizing in terms of how he makes a comeback and lifts his team up, trying to restrict Kings to a total that they're able to chase down later on.
Yeah, it's always tough. 120 for 2 at the halfway stage. Staring down the barrel of 230, 240, possibly even 250 plus. If Kings 11 are able to maintain this momentum. And as a skipper, when you're trying to encourage your team, keep their spirits up when they're getting pasted to all parts and he brings himself on and goes for 22, it's pretty hard to lift the team. 120. Oh, miss it this time. And there we go, a wicket. Sulby has been dismissed. And a good move by the captain, bringing back
A rare rash shot, rather. No
Salman
timing on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Salman Ahmad, I believe, was brought back into the attack. No,
Minaj.
it was Minaj, in fact. And he gets a wicket. The first ball of his second over. Just have to catch who the fielder was. Who took the catch?
Rashid Afzal.
So Afzal taking the catch.
Bowling scorecard showing up.
Minaj being their most economical last night.
Let's have a look at that bowling scorecard. We can see, just got to have a look at the economy column there to work out who the more successful bowlers have been. And it's probably no surprise that they're also the wicket takers. Salman, 1 wicket, economy of 8.3. Rashid, 1 wicket, economy of 7. Minaj, 1 wicket, economy of 6.86. The other 3 bowlers, no wickets, economy rates of 15.5, 19 and 22. Ouch.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Aga's a new batsman.
Who is?
Aga. Thank you.
Is he a new player?
Aga Samir.
Here we go again. Agha to come in at number 4. On strike against Minaj. As I was mentioning earlier, Minaj was their most economical last night. Bagged 2 wickets, conceded 27 off of his 4.
So Sabir, left-hander. First ball drifting into the pads. A little bit of in-swing from Minhaj to the left-handers. Perhaps contributing to the wicket. Although it was short, so it probably didn't have much of a chance to swing. Just a miss hit from Salvi. This time, Sabir will get underway with a single down the ground. So that wicket just stemming the run flow momentarily. Just 1 run so far off the first 3 balls of this over. So Minhaj has done a good job. But bowling to Sunny Sahal now. Drives into a gap on the offside. Picks up another couple. 98 not out, it's the highest score so far.
Should hear, right? He
Yeah.
got him today.
And look at his strike rate. Sunny's, that is. 222.
You take that and bank it on most occasions.
He needs to be supported throughout the end of this inning for these guys to actually cash out on his stunning performance.
Well, he needs to bat long. They're continuing to lose the odd wicket at the other end. But if he can bat through to 17 or 18 at least, they would have set themselves up for a massive total, no doubt. At the end of 11, so 9 overs left. Currently, they're scoring at 11.27 and over. Extrapolate that out to the end of 20 and they'll end up with somewhere around 220, 230, which you'd probably say would be beyond the reach of the Bolingbrook team, but let's not count our chickens.
It's heartening to see how this event, this particular contest, has peaked in terms of teams coming in and actually going for larger, bigger scores throughout. 5th game underway, and we're already looking at predicting this one being perhaps the highest score of all. Perhaps it's the conditions and the players getting used to it, and also learning that the on-par score of 180 just isn't cutting it.
Yeah, good point. As Afzal comes back for his second spell. Very good opening spell, 1 for 14 off 2. Short, pulled. Is there a man in the deep? Yes, there is. So they'll just get the single.
Rashid continues. 5 deliveries remaining in this 12th over. Defended off the back foot. Dot delivery. Straight over the bowler's head for 4. Powerfully struck. Straight down the ground. Going over the hill for 4. An area that batsmen will almost always get the return on their drive, an area that is hardly ever patrolled by the fielder, and a perfect textbook drive down the ground. Another one almost identical, going over the hill for yet another 4. Good batting this by the new man coming in, Agha. Missed a bit of an action.
So 2 fantastic straight drives. They must have been very close to being 6. Consequently, the man at mid-off, or long-off I should say, has come a little bit straighter. But now he taps it into the onside and they'll scamper back for 2. That's clever batting. Actually, they've run pretty well between the wickets. Have Kings 11. Haven't missed too many opportunities at extra runs. Big shot into the leg side. This time he'll clear the rope. That's a maximum, and that's gone into the jungle once again. And that's somewhat ruined Afzal's figures, going for 17 in that over. And at the end of 12, Kings 11, 141 for 3. Agha Sabir quickly into his work. He's 17 off 7. Sunny Sahal, 80 off 38. Both striking well over 200. And there is the batting card. So it's been a story of Sunny Sahal and his supporting actors, I guess.
Rather impressed by number 5, coming in, taking no time and swinging the bat hard and getting some really effective runs.
Absolutely. And there's still players who can wield the willow. If you have a look down at the remainder of that lineup, Donwell, Neil, Jasdeep, Adil, all capable of scoring and scoring quickly. So there's seemingly no end in sight for the carnage for Bolingbrook. They're going to have to do something special.
Speaking of a special, they return to their most economical bowler, Minhaj, to continue from the commentary box end.
This time cutting off the back foot. And there are no one anywhere near the ball, but they just get two in the end.
Late dive into the point region.
So Sahal approaching a milestone. Into the 80s now. He'll get at least another one here. In fact, he'll settle for the one. Man sweeping in the cover region. That was pretty much hit straight to him.
No commentator curse intended here. He looks to be set to go achieve that milestone here today.
Well, if he doesn't, it's going to be your fault. Just putting that out there. But yes, he's looked in control from ball number one. No doubt about it. And the batsmen batting around him have played with a certain amount of freedom as well.
Yes, interesting. We were earlier at the beginning of the innings talking about their middle order not having had the opportunity to be exposed. And this is it.
Absolutely. And so far they've come up trumps as he flicks this away. And that's gone all the way for 6. Boy, that looked easy. Who is this guy, Aga Sabir? Does anyone know anything about him? Classy looking player. From. So there you go. He's a first class Pakistan player. And certainly looks to have that sort of class about him. He's just come out to the middle and started hitting 6s straight away. And that one there, that was all class. Just using the pace of the ball, flicking it off his legs.
Hint of Saeed Anwar.
Oh, now there's a batsman that I could watch bat all day. Saeed Anwar. He was something
his 196
special.
against India.
Yeah, that was a fairly decent knot. Probably my favourite Pakistan batsman of all time, to be fair.
Never understood the unintentional bias and the likes from the whole cricketing universe against the left-handing batsman versus the right-hander. The words that you hear about the left-handers are commonly not happening for the right-handers.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Left-handers, for whatever, are always considered to look prettier than the right-handers. But let's be honest, if you go through the list of names, Kumar Sangakkara,
excellent,
very pretty to watch.
Brian
Charles, very pretty to watch.
Matthew Hayden.
Matthew Hayden, maybe not so pretty. He was
but quite effective
bludgeoning.
in dominating.
David Gower, going back a few decades, very pretty to watch. And then you look at some of the great right-handed players. Sachin Tendulkar, I wouldn't call him pretty. Very effective, not pretty.
Exactly.
Ricky Ponting, very effective, not pretty.
Not pretty.
Steve Smith, ugly, very effective. So maybe there is a point there. Left-handers, for whatever reason, tend to look prettier with bat in hand.
I don't know. It could be just a rarity because if you invert the image, they play similar shots.
That's true. Actually, one right-hander who is very pretty to watch, Mahela Jayawardene. Very pretty.
Lazy elegance.
Yeah. Michael Clark, another one, very pretty.
Definitely agree.
Martin Crowe.
Yunus Khan and his
Yunus Khan.
late sweeps.
So there we go. We've just disproved the theory as well.
Gale might be an exception of not being pretty left-hander. Mighty effective, but
Yeah, Gale and Matthew Hayden. I don't think they'd be considered pretty. Incredibly effective, though. Ganguly, another pretty one, in my opinion.
yeah.
So a change of bowler again from the far end. Who is the bowler?
Abdullah Adil, the second bowler.
Abdullah Adil coming back for his second spell.
Having conceded 31 in the last two.
So he's got a job to do to try and pull back his economy rate. Oh, nice shot through the offside, but they've got a man stationed in the deep. And just the one run conceded. Heading down the ground again. Lands short of the two fielders converging on the ball from long off and long on. Another single, so 3 singles off the first 3 deliveries. You'd have to say in the context of this match that's a minor victory to the bowler. Oh, well bowled right up there in the block hole. Sahal can do nothing but jam his bat down on it and keep it out.
What's interesting to see here, Jamie, is the fact that despite losing those wickets, Kings 11 have consistently hovered over 11 and over.
So a couple of runs this time. Good running again. So this innings is supposed to finish about 15 minutes ago. 85 minutes per T20 innings. Starting at 2 o'clock. Should mean you finish by 3:25. Big shot down the ground. And that is 6. And Sahal moves into the 90s. The end of another over, 11 runs from it, 164 for 3. Still 6 overs remaining, and let's say they score 10 and over from here. They'll probably score more, but let's say they score 10. That's another 60, 224. That's a pretty mammoth T20 score in anyone's books.
It should be. That's creating a lot of pressure in the on the opponents. Bowling second, and gives a lot of heart to your bowlers when you got 200 up on the scoreboard in this particular format. Given that the 50-over ODI format, even in the modern day age, the par is 310, 320. So 200 is actually quite a bit.
You bowler who?
Sohail.
Sohail.
I don't think he bowled last night, did he?
I don't even have him in my list. What's his last name? Ramani. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 20 minutes? Maybe less.
Change of bowling from Bolingbrook. Sohail coming in for his first as 15th over, as Bolingbrook attempts to apply the brakes on this run machine from the Kings batting unit. Slow right hand.
Oh, and he's going to be in with a chance of taking a wicket here. Nope. He's put his hands up, suggesting the sun was in his eyes. Didn't get anywhere near it.
Is there sun over there?
So 2 runs. No, you know what it was? The cloud was in his eyes.
That's 2, right?
2 runs the result. Probably should have been a wicket. He's going to have another chance here. But no, he won't get to it. Just a single.
This part-timer thing can often go wrong, can't it, Jamie?
Yep.
Alright.
How often do we see it? The part-timer comes on and ends up being the hero. So, who knows? Romani has already created 1 chance.
No, 1 double, 1 single, another single now. We have 160.
So 4 runs off the over so far.
Three deliveries remaining. Lofted up on the onside, has gone for a massive 6. Maximum for Sunny. Beg your pardon, for Aga. Reaching 36 off of 15 in no time. And providing an excellent support to Sunny on the other end.
Partnership's gone to 54 now.
Partnership has gone to 54 between these two.
Let's take a betting for how much they're going to hit.
253.
253.
Driven through the offside this time. Fielded cleanly in the deep. Just the single.
Rick, what's your score?
My prediction is 235. Slightly conservative then, Jay.
Score? I bet. Warning. Total score, bola.
Your prediction, bro.
Prediction score.
Now the single to end the over, which means Sunny Sahal will be on strike.
248.
Sitting on 95. Within 1 shot, 1 big shot of a century, I should say. And we can see there that this partnership has really flourished. Biggest partnership of the innings so far is still that 3rd wicket between Sunny Sahal and Swapnil. But this one is fast approaching.
Despite the outcome, Jamie, this should give them a lot of heart from their middle order batsmen in terms of their competence and their ability.
Yeah, that was a really good point that you made at the top of this innings. And, well, it's been the perfect result for them, really. They've exposed most of their middle order. They've had time in the middle. Sahal driving down the ground. But they'll just get the single. Adil continuing from the far end. None for 43 from 3 overs. Money on this guy getting to his half century before Sunny gets to his century.
Really? You think that? I don't know.
Sunny looks like he's just trying to get there in singles at the moment.
He'll end up scoring 125.
Yeah.
No, you're saying Aga will get to his 50 before him. I don't know, one shot to change it.
Adil tries to stop that shot, driven powerfully on the offside, fails to do it. Sonny batting at 96, needing 4 for the first milestone of the Liberty Cup.
Single failure.
Certainly seems to be wanting to finish it in singles rather than some of the big shots that he has played earlier in the innings. Nothing wrong with that.
Just 2 runs short now. He's got 2 deliveries in this over to possibly get the 2 runs remaining. He'll get at least 1 here. Could be 2. Yes, he's placed it to perfection. Well played. In fact, probably could get another one if he wants it. But he's just going to wait and enjoy the applause from his teammates in the crowd that have witnessed a pretty special innings, you'd have to say. 100 from exactly 50 deliveries. 5 fours, 6 sixes, and he really has put up a fantastic knock for his side, which is going to lead them to a pretty imposing total.
Special knock. First 100 of the BPL inaugural Liberty Cup coming off of just 50 deliveries in 5th game.
And he's made it look relatively easy as well. Almost a chanceless innings. I can't remember him being put down.
It's interesting,
Possibly
Jamie,
put down once right in front of us.
from a stats perspective in the ODI and the longer format of the game, 100 off of 50 goes in the record book.
Yeah, absolutely. But he has made it look easy. And he's obviously hit a number of boundaries, 6 sixes and 5 fours, but it's been his running between the wickets and his placement and the way he's formed partnerships with the other batsmen that has been most impressive for me. Obviously a player that understands his game well and understands the game of cricket really well, knows what is required of himself and of his team. Big shot into the leg side, but just the single. There is a man stationed at cow corner. And that ends the over. Just the 8 runs from it. It ends Adil's spell. He's conceded 50 runs from his 4 overs, so a half century to Adil. Clap, clap, clap. 184 for 3, 4 overs remaining.
Regardless of the format of the game, Jamie, such is the temperament, such is the importance of the temperament, pacing your innings, batting first. You're always going to be in 2 minds, doubting and debating in terms of what is the par score, what can your bowlers defend, what can you score that plays rightly into the strength of your bowling unit. This has been such a sensible knock, and taught to spare for that notion that this particular format is all about quick cameo and quick fireworks. If you can get yourself in, if you're able to sight and time the ball just as good as what Sonny has done today, it speaks volume of in terms of what you can do of your reputation and image in this format in any league around the globe.
Yeah, it's an innings out of the top drawer, no doubt. And he's really looked a class above. It's a stacked batting lineup, although his partners look pretty special himself. 38 of just 18 for Aga Sabir. And it's been a very enjoyable partnership to witness. Probably the only people here who haven't enjoyed it are the 11 men in the field who have had to chase leather for the best part of the last 45 minutes.
Jamie, they say play your best at the top. has proven the point for Damien Shahir last night, his 98, and today Sunny.
Yeah, because of the shorter format, it's generally the openers that go on to get the big scores.
मीर भाई लेटेस्ट स्क्रीन देखें अब नया चेंज देखिए इसके अंदर
That's going to fall safely. Perfect placement, and they'll come back for 2 to rub salt into the wound. A false shot that ends up scoring Sabir 2. This time over the top, a backward point, and it should reach the boundary. No, not quite. It's pulled up short. So another couple to Aga Sabir.
Shout out to our main cameraman, Omer, who has been working tirelessly for the last 2 days to bring us this immensely amazing production quality.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating over the top of these pictures. Coming down the track, and he's got him. Good work by Yashab behind the stumps. Aga Sabir coming down the track. He was past the delivery. Yashab collected cleanly and did the rest. So the end of a bright little cameo from Aga Sabir. He looked all class while he was there, but it's come to an end. Dismissed for 42. And the end of a very good partnership, which has ensured that the Kings 11 will end up with a very good total. Donwell Hector is the new batsman, striding out to the middle to join his captain. Please. Yeah, of course. I want to look the part.
You have looked the most part because of the experience.
I might even cut my hair for tomorrow and not wear a hat. Looking to pull his Hector off the first ball. Have to wait and see if that came off glove. I think it did. So yes, he is underway with a single. Don't know a lot about Donwell Hector. Have to see if he's a man who can hit big. He's got an opportunity here with 3 and a bit overs to go. Just a swing from the hip, essentially. I think at this stage, Sahal should probably just look to bat through. Maybe just look to give the strike to the other batsman, and they can just swing away merrily.
When you're up against such a monumental total, batting second and obviously chasing, should you almost always have to find a centurion in you?
That's fine. I should have asked. I didn't notice that. Oh, sweet. Yeah, thanks. So Salman Ahmad coming back from the far end to finish his spell. He's bowled well so far. 1 for 25 from his 3.
I'm sorry, you were distracted. I was asking, should the chasing chasing team have to find a centurion and then to be able to.
So going back to your question, Rick, do the chasing team need a centurion? Not necessarily. They just need to somehow find one more run than the opposition. Doesn't matter if they all score 40s or one player gets 140 and the rest bat around him. Just whatever it takes. Of course, more often than not, when you chase down a big total, it's generally on the back of one person getting a century. But at this stage, I'm sure Bolingbrook don't care about individual milestones. They just would love to chase down whatever total they're set.
One-man show or all-round performance, a win is a win in this tightly contested format, particularly where teams really don't have a whole lot of margin of error.
No, you're right. And because it's a protracted contest, momentum can swing very swiftly. A couple of big overs either way and all of a sudden the other team are back in it. Of course, it's been all one-way traffic in this innings. So even a big momentum shift right now, they're still going to be chasing a decent target, Bolingbrook. As we see a change of bat. Sunny Sahal perhaps calling for his last 3 overs of the innings bat. Perhaps it's got a few extra pounds in it, a little bit of extra wood. And, gee, the new bat has done pretty well first up. First ball with the new stick, and he's planted it over mid-on for 6. So I suggested that perhaps Sahal was going to look to bat out the innings and feed the strike to his partners. Well, if you're going to hit the ball like that, you should try and manipulate the strike so you face as many balls as possible.
Yeah, there's a saying at this stage of the game, once a batsman has hit a ton, the ball size appears to be a football size to him from sighting and timing perspective.
It's this time they scamper through for a couple. So coming down towards the end of another innings. Flicked nicely off his toes. 4 more to Sunny Sahal. He just continues on his merry way up to 115 now, and that's the 200 for Kings 11. 203, 17.3 overs gone.
Jamie, just a bit of trivia that you obviously get from me unwarranted. I have captained a few tape ball games against Bolingbrook.
Ouch! That is destructive. That's a big hit.
What a beautiful shot. Coming back to the point that I was trying to make, Jamie, these people talk a lot and the body language is not up to the task when you've got opponent against you batting as such an amazing run flow. It changes the whole contest, doesn't it?
It does, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard to keep up the energy and to keep positive when you've been taken to the cleaners like this. But you've got to somehow find something within you. Keep the chatter up, keep encouraging the bowler, keep looking lively in the field. These guys just look down on the dumps at the moment. This time over the offside. And the man has managed to get around and cut it off, but another couple of runs.
Absolutely, to your point, Jamie, From a technicality standpoint, from a stats standpoint, from calculation, if they got to score that much, why can't you? Conditions aren't changing. The batting conditions are just as good as in terms of what they got and what you're going to get, despite the pressure on the scoreboard. But if they back themselves up, they could be in this game.
This will be another boundary. Full toss on the legs. There was only one direction that was going to go. It was just a matter of whether it would be 4 or 6, and that ends an over that has completely ruined Salman's figures. He ends up 4 overs, 1 for 49, 24 runs coming off his 4th and final over. But yeah, to your point, you're right. The conditions are the same for both batsmen. The only other thing you need to take into account is the relative skills of the two teams. And I think even the most passionate Bolingbrook fan would have to admit that the skill factor in the Kings 11 is probably a notch above their side. Doesn't mean that they can't play above themselves and they might catch Kings 11 on a bad day and manage to knock them over. But probably 9 times out of 10, if you look at the 2 11s on paper, Kings 11 are going to come out on top.
Such is the amazing nature of the cricket. Can never write off anyone until the last moment.
As Afzal comes back to finish his spell, concedes a single first ball. And I believe he's walking. He is.
Come on, Mudabai. Come on, Mudabai.
So a good show of sportsmanship by Sunny Sahal. I'm not sure the umpire was going to give him out, but he's walked. He did. And I believe this is Adil Bhatti striding out to the middle.
What a bar has he raised in this tournament, Sonny? Other top order aggressive batsmen have to score 128 to supersede him.
8.
But absolutely in line with the spirit of the game, as we say, for the batsman to walk away after he knows that he nicked it.
You don't see it often these days, but good to see that sort of sportsmanship is still alive and well in this part of the world.
Ricky Ponting might have been the worst. Never freaking walked. But he hardly ever got to bat, though. He's a bowler.
Oh, swing and a miss first ball. So Afzal doing his best to restrict the scoring here. It's probably been the pick of the bowlers. 2 for 32. And again, beating the bat. Just 8 deliveries left in the innings. This time, Bhatti makes contact, and pretty solid contact at that. That will be a 6 over mid-wicket.
तुम कोहली नहीं हो मैं बता रहा हूँ फिर भी नहीं आप और बिलाल दो हैं जो लम्बे मार सकते हैं वो तो सही बैकअप तो करेंगे ना
I heard that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the bat on ball that time. I didn't hear the edge, but I heard that one.
So, Jamie, no bragging intended. The discussion offline in terms of our prediction for the total, I seem to be the closest amongst three of us.
Do you want a medal? Do you want a medal or a cuddle? Perhaps a kiss? And there is still an over to go, so anything could happen.
I said 235 he said 250
He said 235.
and you
I
said
said
250
253.
He said 248, he said 235, you said 235.
get ready to lose no I would
30
want
runs
them
off this over.
I would want them to be an exciting end of the inning.
That would be funny.
If they could get like 25 off of it, it's like
It'd be pretty awesome.
historical
Six sixes.
at this level. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
They're even predicting all their score.
Pulling
Ibran Chima. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anything's possible.
can you pull a
What do you do?
Can we pull
Captain's
a
back on.
Broad thing against Stewart Broad?
Yeah, there you go.
Captain's back on.
Go back and look at that film. He looks so young. But the fact that he's been able to make a good comeback and partnering up with Jimmy Anderson, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Most bowlers would have just
Shot.
gone away.
Well, that's another big one from Butty.
Buddy, right?
Chima has conceded 28 runs off 7 deliveries so far.
Timing and authority on that shot.
Yeah, you might be. Nah, 4 more sixes. He's going to hit 5 in a row, and then he'll get out on the last ball, and I'll be right on
He'll be right on
253.
253.
Oh, yaar.
No, he's
Catch it.
out.
Chakka.
I spoke too soon with my prediction, didn't I, Jamie?
You did back-to-back sixes. In fact,
Good song is there. He has to do a hat-trick of dot balls.
I feel so bad for the captain.
235 for 5.
So bad for the captain.
Taken to the cleaners.
This time it won't be 6. In fact, it'll just be the single.
I can't be really harsh to him online, but because I know him. But why would you bring yourself on? You've been taking the cleaners in your first over.
Maybe there's no other bowlers.
Are you kidding me? They could have gone with Cheyenne gone for 19. Actually, you're right. Sohail went for 12.
He was a part-timer.
Another single down the ground. 237, so 240 plus on the cards here.
2 balls left. Everyone, you might be in it. Yeah, Chakka.
Miss hit. There's going to be a couple of runs here.
No man's land.
So 239, 1 ball left.
Dude, he went 22 off.
Adil Bhatti, 22 off 8.
Lands in no man's land, fetches them a couple of runs. Pretty safe and effective. They'll take anything at this stage of the game. 1 to go. Here we go.
And he lets it go outside off stump for a wide. Bit of an anticlimax, but it means another delivery, and that's the 240 up. And he mistimes it down the ground, but I'm sure they'll look to come back for 2. No, they just settle for the single. 241 for 5 will be the final score for Kings 11. Magnificent effort for them, and driven primarily by a fantastic century from Sunny Sahal.
We are closer than Jamie. I'll make him admit it online.
Bolingbrook will need 242 to win this match and to give themselves any chance
What an
of making the
impressive
semi-finals. If we could just ask Sunny Sahal to please make his way over towards the media centre.
What an absolute brilliant display of a strong batting lineup, scoring 241 for 5. At no stage, despite regularly losing the wickets, did they ever seem to be under pressure. They were consistent with their run rate, which was over 11 and over from the get-go. And they carried that through despite losing wickets at regular intervals. Kudos to them. They have posted an incredible, amazing score on the scoreboard. First of this inaugural BPL's Liberty Cup. We haven't come close thus far. 5th game in a row. This one would be hard to beat. They've raised the bar quite high. Bolingbrook team is going to have to play out of their skin to be able to chase this down. We will be back in 10 minutes time. Thank you for being with us.
Mark. Rick. Are you gonna?
Is that Sunny coming now?
Yeah. Okay, this is ready. Hello, test. Can you test the wireless mic again?
Check 1, 2. JB Lloyd at the house.
Wait a second.
Bolingbrook.
Wait a second. Just 2 seconds.
Semi-decent innings. I give it about 6.5 out of 10. That was a pleasure to watch. Well done. What's your favourite colour?
I think
Orange.
yeah.
Good, that's the colour of the company I work for. Good answer. So I'm here with man of the moment, Sunny Sahal, captain of the Kings 11 and also the man who just absolutely destroyed the Bolingbrook attack. So Sunny, when you went out there, obviously you had a pretty good knock the other day as well, yesterday, with a nice little not out to your name. You must be feeling in pretty good form.
Yeah, it was a good form. I want you to be, I want my form to be continue because it's when we go to the finals, like, like we have good teams here too. So that's why I want that momentum and that confidence level on, you need on a big game, so you need some confidence. So that's why I just want to play like, 20 overs. So I was thinking, when I go always on the bat.
Yeah, well, you pretty much did that, just getting dismissed in the second to last over. So your plan came off perfectly. Now, Rick and myself were actually talking at the top of the innings about the need to perhaps expose some of your middle order to the conditions out here in the middle for the sake of later on in the tournament. That worked out perfectly for you guys. I guess that will be an advantage moving forward.
Yeah, it was a good, everybody was bat and everybody was, in a shape, and, it's looked like, we have a good all-rounders and we have a batting like 9 to 10, and all batsmen are like all-rounder and good all-rounders. So we, today's a good, everybody have a chance to get bat,
All right, well, I guess I have to ask this question. Do you think you guys can defend this total, and are you going to do anything special out there to try and make sure you knock these Bolingbrook guys over?
Say it's a cricket, you never know, but, definitely we want to we have a good bowling side too, but, it's a cricket, so we want, get them out before 100. That was our motive. That's it.
Awesome. That obviously will help your net run rate as well. Well, thank you so much. Well done on a fantastic first up innings. Hope you go on and do well in the second, and we will be back with the run chase in approximately 5 minutes.
Oh, no, that's fine. No.
He was just the eye candy, right? Good job, VJ. Is it hot out there? No? Yeah, nice breeze coming across, right? Certainly helps. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Yeah, really good. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, was that? Yeah. This is but the screen is only.
Are we live?
We are live. No, we're live.
All right, we are almost in readiness for the run chase here. The umpires and the Kings 11 are out in the middle. The Bolingbrook team will need 242 to win this match. A very stiff ask.
Who's the bowler?
And Najev Shah is the bowler who will be opening from the far end for the Kings 11.
Mahmood. I'm taking your trip a little bit. Mahmood Chaudhry? Yes. Yes. Oh, come on.
Mahmood Chowdhury will be the striking batsman. And Yashab, the wicketkeeper, the man who was the star with the bat yesterday for Bolingbrook, will be at the non-striker's end. So all just about in readiness for the second innings. While we wait for the first delivery, just a big thank you to our sponsors once again, Liberty Medical Centre, Pepsi and Gatorade for all of their support, and Cricket Clubs for the live scores. And here we go, inside edge, just past the leg stump to get things underway. And there's really only one way that Bolingbrook can play this. They just need to go hell for leather from the outset. If it comes off, it comes off. If it doesn't, they're effectively going to be out of the tournament, because I would say if they lose, their run rate's going to take, their net run rate's going to take a pretty healthy hit. As Shah this time loses his run up. Yashab now on strike.
There's only one way to go about this, isn't it?
Yeah, swing for the fences from ball one, I think, is the name of the day.
Setting the tone right up front, as they say. And they can totally get the opposition in pressure if they get the first three off to the Flyers.
Looking to whip it away on the leg side, but gets taken on the pad. Thoughts of an appeal for LBW, but it was pretty high. Probably pitched outside leg as well.
Jamie, not discounting your immense knowledge of the local leagues, Bolingbrook players have been on average playing for the last 15 years. I don't mean to disclose their age, but they are experienced players and they have done quite a bit. I've been to some of their players, skippers' houses, and I've seen the trophies they've been able to gather.
Big shot down the ground. He hasn't got all of it, but he should get a couple. And Yashab will need all of the skill that he demonstrated last night in his innings to try and get this team somewhere close to that target of 242.
There's no audio for now. Here, but not in the live. No. There's audio, bro.
They need to go at roughly 12.2 right from the start. So effectively, oh, and a good effort from the man at square leg to try and get under that ball. So they need to go at least 2 runs a ball right from the outset. Pretty tough.
How many international T20s have we seen where this massive total got chased down comfortably, or one way or the other?
Gee, good question. Can't be too many. Generally, if you score over 220. It's a winning total. May have been chased down a couple of times. I think there may have been a couple in the IPL a couple of seasons ago where a big score was chased. But none spring to mind. It'll be a Herculean effort should Bolingbrook get close. But they showed some fight last night in their particular match. Batting first, they were really under the pump early. They lost early wickets and their run rate was going nowhere. But then, thanks to Yashab and a few of the lower middle order, they managed to get through to about 190. They're going to need a few more than that here today. They'll get a couple here at least. Overthrows. Mahmood almost getting run out at the far end, and that ends the first over. Just 5 runs from it. So that run rate required has already gone up a couple of notches. They need a lot more than 5s to get close. Good start from Shah.
Jamie, this should not be any new information for you, but Najaf Shah has 477 wickets to his credit in first-class cricket in Pakistan.
Jesse Singh, right arm, medium fast bowler, current member of the US national team, will take up the attack from the commentary box end. Very good bowler. Works hard on his game. He'll be very keen to impress here. And he starts with a good one. Just short of a length. Swinging and seaming away from the right-hander. Wild swing from Mahmood. Makes no contact.
When we talk about the effective bowling line and length perspective in this format of the game, it's quite interesting, isn't it? In terms of how this plays out. Conventional wisdom says to stay inside the line of the body, but T20 bowling has seen far more effective wider of the off stumps.
Oh, and a good bouncer here. Short of a length, rising up to about chest level, and Mahmood in the end probably did well to get his gloves out of the way of it. Good aggressive fast bowling from Jesse. But you're right, T20 has really changed mindset of both batsmen and bowlers alike. Batsmen have found a way to hit good deliveries, conventional good deliveries. And other variations such as the wide Yorker, slower ball bouncer, etc. have come into play. So 3 dot balls to start for Jesse.
I mentioned trivial information about Najaf earlier. Jesse, on the other hand, having achieved 9 wickets in first-class cricket.
Jesse, of course, playing a first-class or part of a first-class season in Sri Lanka last year. By all accounts, bowled very well without much luck. Reports coming out of Sri Lanka were that he had a number of catches dropped off his bowling and bowled a lot better than perhaps his figures would suggest.
Reminds me of Muhammad Amir's return to the international arena.
And again, there's that wide Yorker. Effective. So this is a tough start for Bolingbrook. They're just unable to get anything away past the infield. Just 6 runs from the first 1.5 overs, and that run rate required is touched 13 now. Again, swing and a miss to end the second over. Just one run conceded from Jesse Singh. 6 without loss after 2. And all of the pressure on the Bolingbrook batsmen to find a way to get the ball to the boundary.
I admired the intuition and the homework from teams, regardless of the fact that Bolingbrook was able to put a very competitive score on the board last night. But if you recall, we were witnessing some uncomfort against the short and wide stuff from their batters, and this is what the bowling unit is attempting to do at the moment.
Clipped away through the leg side this time. Over pitching was Shah, and he'll concede a couple of runs. And we hope, for the sake of this being a spectacle, that Bolingbrook are able to get away some big shots. To at least put some bit of pressure back on the Kings 11 bowlers and fielders. But at this stage, it's all looking a little bit too difficult.
Impressive left-arm seamers hailing from Pakistan, such an understatement. Najaf's bowling style and stance, on the other hand, reminds me of Irfan from the man in the blue from India.
Short ball over the top of middle stump. Very well bowled. Chowdhury getting his body out of the way, trying to get bat on ball. But it was kind of half of a shot, half of evasive action. And another dot ball through to the keeper.
In T20s, Najaf's stats are 15 wickets from the 18 matches that he has played.
Outside off this time, short of a length. Another swing and a miss. Jaska and Malhotra is busy behind the stumps. Just about every ball has gone through to him so far. Change in the field. The man at Gully moving across to a short mid-wicket position, or conventional mid-wicket. And some good fielding from Donwell Hector at backward point. Cuts off that shot from Chowdhury. If it had got past him, it would have been at least a couple. And he dived away to his left. Got 2 hands to the ball cleanly. Again, a short ball. Good sharp bouncer. No answer from the batsman. And another dot ball ends the over. Just 2 runs from the over. 8 without loss after 3. And it's all one-way traffic at this stage. Bolingbrook, sure, they haven't lost a wicket, but they're just unable to get any sort of momentum into this run chase.
Going back to teams working out their opponents and their weaknesses. 3 overs that we have seen so far have been consistent and on point, and really haven't allowed anything for the Bolingbrook opening partners to go and make a statement and get their run flow going.
Singh continues, this time driven nicely through the covers by Yashub. He'll get a couple. This time waiting for the ball to swing. And hitting it right under the eyes. Nice looking shot. Big top edge this time. Chance is swallowed. And there's the first wicket. Yashub has to walk back. The hero from last night with the bat for Bolingbrook has come up short today.
Fielder number, please.
Early breakthrough for Kings bowlers against the Bolingbrook. A rather easy catch taken on the third man.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Not what Bolingbrook batters would have preferred at this stage of the game, where they wanted to get their chase up in a flow at this massive total that they were up against. But it's all about the experience and working out the plan against your opponents.
So Swapnil Salvi was the man who took that catch down at third man. Irfan Chowdhury is the new batsman. So Chowdhury joining Chowdhury.
Jamie, I would like to gather your thoughts when you get a chance on the prospect of BPL. Putting aside my personal liking and bias from this wonderful league that I have been privileged to be 2 miles away from in terms of turning into something prestigious, a benchmark, a springboard into the international arena, given your exposure and experience around the country.
Wow, searing Yorker from Jesse Singh first up. Chowdhury does very well to keep it out. Well, good question, Rick. And I think the answer is that this tournament is up there with anything else that's going on around the country, if not better, particularly in terms of the production that we've got here, the live stream, and all of the technical elements of the game. And, of course, the other thing is the field. It's only a couple of fields, other fields around the country that are anywhere close to this sort of standard. So it's fantastic exposure for any young guys or any local players getting to play against some of these top-class athletes, and also having the opportunity to play in front of effectively a live stream audience. This time just touching the equipment. In fact, no, signalled wide. I thought perhaps it grazed the pants on the way through, but good work from Jaskar and Malhotra behind the stumps to prevent that wide from going past him. But yeah, certainly fantastic tournament, fantastic for exposing not only local talent but some overseas talent to the viewers. And knowing Mir Ali, I'm sure his plan is just to grow this thing year in, year out. So if this is year one, which is brilliant, imagine how good it's going to be in future years.
Absolutely. On that note, if you look back to the IPL versus PSL type contest, or contrast rather, IPL starting off in 2008 and taking a few years to make it big and producing some incredibly amazing talent comparing with PSL, infancy state.
So wicket number 2 in the over for Jesse Singh. Short ball. Top edge from Chowdhury, and it's been swallowed with ease by Jaskaran Malhotra behind the stumps. So a successful over for Jaskaran comes to an end. Sorry for Jesse. 2 wickets, 4 runs off his 2 overs. So certainly impressing. Chowdhury up for a duck, and after 4 overs, Bolingbrook find themselves 11 for 2. And yeah, I take your point about the IPL. With after a couple of years, they really started producing some good young talent for India, and I think it's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't remember, but I think it's fairly obvious to all that the rise of Indian cricket has coincided with the IPL. And I think it's had a huge impact on the game there, and a huge impact on developing cricket. Now, the challenge for a tournament like this is obviously the IPL is played over a number of months, and it's played at different grounds where players get exposed to different types of conditions. I'm sure Mir Ali is looking to grow this thing. I'm not sure a dozen grounds and a tournament spanning over 3 months are in the planning. But certainly he will be looking to grow it, and it can help with development of good talent in this country, no doubt.
Absolutely. Once again, despite my personal association and liking, I believe given my exposure experience and in terms of what I have seen, if anything is about to bring back the cricket that is needed on the international arena from US, it's BPL.
Who's the batsman, sorry? The new batsman? Is it Cheyenne Ali? At the non-strikers end? New batsman?
New batsman, Cheyenne Ali.
I was right.
New bowler, Neil.
Neil, thank you.
A word on Kings bowlers from their first game. It is quite interesting to see that their most expensive bowler last night went for 7 1/4 and over. Speak to the discipline and control that they went against the combine yesterday. Seemed with Najaf being the pick of the bowler yesterday, going for 8 runs only off of its 4 overs at the economy of 2 per over.
Well, Chowdhury finding a few gaps in this over. That's 4 twos, or certainly 3 twos in a row. 4 twos, in fact.
There's been 4 balls and 3 balls.
I think it's 4. 4 twos, right?
Yeah, 4 twos.
He's going to get at least another one here as well. In fact, they'll settle for one. I'm not sure why you would walk a single when you're chasing 242. Surely you want to sprint every run as hard as humanly possible. If I was the coach, I'd be very, very grumpy if I saw any walking between the wickets like that. Gee, I would like to have a look at the side on replay for that one. He definitely lifted his foot for a second there. But in the end, he survives the end of another over. The best one for Bolingbrook so far in the innings. They got 9 runs off that over. And at the end of 5, 20 for 2, the score. Required run rate almost touching 15. It's 14.8 currently. And Adil Bhatti has been handed the ball.
See, in this particular format of the game, irrespective of the early loss of wickets, you just can't allow to have the required run rate balloon up beyond 14. That is tremendous amount of pressure you're putting on yourself as a chasing unit.
Yep, very true. The thing is, I think they've been trying. It's not like they're just looking to knock the ball around. They've been swinging. But the bowling has just been too good. And they've been unable to find the boundary at all so far in this innings. Adil Bhatti was pretty effective with the ball yesterday. I think he took 3 wickets for Bolingbrook. So it's not going to get any easier. Sorry, 3 wickets for Kings 11. And it looks like he's got one first up here. Little tickle through to Jaskaran Malhotra for his second catch. So Adil Bhatti strikes first ball. That's his 4th wicket of the tournament. And Bolingbrook slide further into the mire. 20 for 3 now.
Kings bowlers certainly making it really hard from the offset. 3 wickets indeed yesterday for Adil Bhatti. Despite the number of wickets, such an economy rate in this format of the game. Only conceding 18 runs off of his 4 overs at 4.5 of economy. And obviously coming on top with taking 3 wickets and making massive breakthroughs against combined 11.
I mean, it's empty, so it's not going to matter.
So I put the beats on. I'll take it.
Umar Bilal is the new batsman.
I don't use rubbish headphones like that. There's proper ones.
Oh, shit.
What were the years? Marshall. Good shit.
Umar Bilal is on strike. New batsman. Big hitter. Only guy that can do
He's got to hit
anything.
it first though.
He's the only one that can do anything.
Oh, what's his name? Stefan Dudley, he was a big hitter too.
So Jamie, in terms of the contest and the context, the incoming batsman Umar Bilal has been known for big hitting, and that is the need of the hour at the moment, isn't it?
Certainly, but he's going to struggle to hit anything if Adil Bhatti continues to bowl like that. That looks pretty sharp as well. I think he's added a yard of pace since the last time I saw him bowl.
He's the one that dropped the catch for Sunny Sahal. He went on the century.
Oh, true.
He was on 30 at that time.
Yeah.
Ouch. He owes his team runs. 90 of them. Oh, oh, what a catch. What a catch.
Turn down.
Sensational bit of work from Jaskaran behind the stumps. But I think suggestion that it may have grazed the back arm on the way through to the keeper. Certainly the fact that it almost didn't carry would suggest that it came off something softer than the bat.
This is the spirit and the passion of the game. Despite being on top, no let-ups given. 100% all the time, every single delivery. A massive heave and a miss. Good line and length from Adil Bhatti continues against the Bolingbrook batters, having already lost 3 top-order batsmen. Quite a big work ahead of them.
And credit must go to Kings 11 for keeping the foot on the throat, and I guess it shows the passion of these guys. They want to perform despite being on top. Oh, and again, past the outside edge.
Touching the audience.
Hilarious.
They can't even touch this shit.
At least like slash it or go hard at it and recover. He's like trying to, I don't know, drive it. Drive it down a third.
Young guns versus the exposed and experienced.
And again, past the outside edge to end a wicket maiden. What a start for Adil Bhatti.
There aren't many of those in T20s, are they? Maiden wicket over.
No, we actually saw a 2-wicket maiden in the first game this morning. One of those wickets being a run out.
Again, BPL being the first for so many things, setting the precedents and creating some exciting cricket that has never been witnessed before.
You meant to say that about Bolingbrook or me?
Bolingbrook.
Just imagine if he brings one in instead of going away. If he brings one in, he's done.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's playing it like right
Our
there.
swingers
He's
have
not
been
even
very
there.
effective.
He's like on his off.
You're right. I'm not sure if he's got the in-swinger in his arsenal.
No, he did yesterday. He had
Did he? Adil Bhatti did?
That's how he got the double wicket.
All right, so back to who's the bowler?
Neil.
Hold on, has he bowled yet?
So Neil Naveka will continue. I think the batsman will feel a little bit more comfortable about against this slow bowling. Bowlers, the other quick bowlers, have caused no end of trouble for all of the batsmen. And finally, Bilal gets bat on ball. Appeal for a run out, but managed to get through safely. So both batsmen off the mark.
Jamie, is quite interesting, isn't it? The T20 format going against the conventional wisdom of starting off with slow and spinners as opposed to what the seamers have been able to do in the other formats. I particularly remember Hafiz being the benchmark from Afridi's era, as well as Imad Wasim from Sarfaraz Ahmed recently in the international arena, despite knowing that the spin is not on the cards.
Yeah, good work from the keeper. Just lifted his back foot momentarily and Jaskaran Malhotra whipped the bails off. Great bit of work. Showing his class behind the stumps. Was signalled wide by the umpire, but that won't matter.
This is stupid. They're pathetic.
23 for 4 now. Sliding further. It's just getting more and more difficult for Bolingbrook. Rashid Afzal makes his way out to the middle to join the fray.
It's on there. I don't know, but I'm already connected because I saved it. It's a randomized password on there.
Such a non-start this from Bolingbrook against up this monumental total, given their experience and the strength that they possess, such as the pressure that a chasing side would have up against this quality side that has really hit them all over the park earlier in their first innings.
No, Kings did. Kings did. Bolingbrook won the toss last night. Chima Bhai, that was up at the pitch report.
And this is the first match that we're going to see the chasing team come up short. Well, the game's not over yet, but looks highly likely that the chasing team will come up short. First time we'll also see the team winning the toss, winning a match.
You won the toss in the morning?
I apologise. Second time we've seen a team winning the toss and winning the match.
You could say that the both teams batting first won today. Yesterday all the chasing teams won.
Chasing makes for exciting cricket. Defending makes it for traditional cricket.
Total score on 23, right?
One ball left in the over. There should be another ball left, right?
Why is it given an over?
He didn't.
Walk it
He
down.
forgot the wide.
All them.
Leave it.
There's one to go though.
There's one to go. There's one to go.
Doesn't matter, you leave it. It's up to them.
Oh, yeah.
Mighty effective over from Kings in this pursuit of defending a massive total that their batters have been able to give them.
Well, no one, it seems, apart from Chowdhury, who got an edge, is able to get bat on ball when facing Adil Bhatti at this stage. Poor Umar Bilal will be having nightmares.
Yeah, quite a contest this, and such a contrasting contest indeed that the bowls offside the white stumps, off stumps rather, no connection has been made predominantly.
This time it's a little bit too wide of off stump from Bhatti.
Required run rate climbing up to a monumental 17 and over from the 12 and a half overs remaining in this Bolingbrook's batting inning.
It'll just screw with him mentally.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine. Because he's just taking it away, and he's going to bring one in, and he's going to end it.
Where are the
He should
in-swingers
bowl-
for Adil though?
He should just bowl one crossing and just bowl it straight, and he'll nick it. No, he's from DC.
Such an amazing talent this, living up to the expectation of the first game where he took the first wicket, 3 wickets rather, only for 18 off of his 4.
No connection.
No comments. No comment on this one. I don't do. All of us do.
There's not much more to say really. Let's just sit back and watch this contest.
आप प्लेयर से जानते हो ना जब हम आए थे ना ऑन सीन पे ये हमें जीतने में किसने कभी दिया यहाँ पे बोलिंग की बात कर रहा हूँ ये वो लॉन्च
Connection.
फाइनली रोटेशन
That was the inswinger.
was it Adil?
Yeah, no, but the balance wasn't there.
Jamie tells me that this was the expected in-swinger from Adil. He has been extremely consistent with taking it outside and bowling those outswingers that Bolingbrook batters have had no answers for. Back with an outswinger, heave and a miss, repeat of a lot of the deliveries that we have seen in last couple of overs from Adil.
Yeah, apart from that one wide, it's been error-free cricket really from Adil Bhatti. And again, more of the same, swing and a miss outside off stump. That ends the over. Conceded a single and a wide, so he completely ruined his figures that over. He's now considered conceded 2 runs. He won't be happy. 2 overs, 1 maiden, 2 runs, 1 wicket. He also had a decent little cameo with the bat. I think he got 19 off about 5 deliveries.
Bowler number, please. Sunny Patel.
Thank you, sir. Sunny Patel.
So new bowler, Sunny Patel.
No, I want that because I want to be able to speak to that. Yeah, there we go. is
No, it's still us.
still you guys.
I can bring it up.
Most recent game, bro.
Right there, right there. It's on the screen.
You are right, my friend.
23 off 9.
23 off 9. Yep. Hitting 3-6. That's strike rate of 255.
Where's the dude that came in?
That's an all-rounder, isn't it?
Yeah. He's opened the batting for US
Has he?
in
Okay.
T20.
Did not recall that.
Oh,
That's a big shot. That's what we've been waiting for. That's seriously out of here for a man who's been struggling to get bat on ball. Wow.
That is what we're here for. That is what the spectators at the ground are expecting, including the online viewers and fans that have joined us. It sounded good, it looked good, and it was mighty effective. From the moment it took off from the blade, it was going to be a 6. What an incredible shot. What an intent. That is the need of the hour for Bolingbrook to be able to chase this down.
Quicker ball this time.
Why does he have black bands on his arms? What is he protesting for?
No, it's just the rim of the shirt,
Okay.
the t-shirt.
Gotcha. Easily taken.
And Adil Bhatti now takes a catch to add to his all-round effort in this match. So one humongous 6 by Bilal before he was out.
Such a soft dismissal. Having played a fine shot over onto the mid-on cow corner region and just easily lofting it up to the short mid region for an easy catch.
square leg.
I couldn't see that from here.
So 31 for 5 now.
How far is
Getting
it?
into the lower middle order.
Not so much.
Not sure how useful the tail is for the Bolingbrook side, but they're going to be tested
I think it's Chima.
today, that's for sure.
Yeah, it could be either one. I think it's Chima. Captain's gonna come out, man. Captain ही आएगा बाद में. खुद 40 रन बना ले वो तो बहुत बड़ी बात है भाई.
Skipper in for the rescue. Required run rate at the moment is almost 19 and over.
That's just 3 6s and a single. 2 dot balls every over. No problem.
As simple as that, isn't it?
But yeah, pretty clinical display by Kings 11 so far.
19 and over can never be written off for an over or two, but it's such a massive task for them to continue for the remaining 11 overs.
Chima.
So end of another successful over. Patel getting a breakthrough in his first. Now, obviously, we're expecting from here that Bolingbrook will go on to lose this match, but probably more devastatingly for them, it's absolutely going to destroy their net run rate. Because if they go on to beat, let's say they manage to get up and beat Combine 11, they'd have to beat them by about 300 runs to get their net run rate in a position where they might qualify for the semis. As Bhatti will continue from the media centre end of the ground. mistimed into the leg side, but he'll get a single at least, and a little bit of confusion in the running. The ball hits the edge of the pitch, almost takes off Malhotra's head, but he survives. First short ball we've seen from Butty, really.
We'll have to go back to these stats to actually confirm this thought, but really the ploy, and a mighty effective ploy that the Kings bowlers has had against the Bolingbrook batters is short and wide stuff, and they really haven't been able to connect in the 9 overs we have seen thus far.
Well, they've connected this time. Captain Chima, and a mistake in the deep, has conceded. Is that the first boundary? No, we've seen a 6. Maybe the first boundary 4 of the innings. And 4 to Chima. Well watched by Chima.
Captain's knock on the card. Needed at this stage.
Gets no in air at this time. Again, playing a miss outside off stump, and a little bit of a shame, I guess, that this match has been a bit of a fizzer, completely dominated by Kings 11 to this point. But you've got to appreciate the talent on display. The ability to score 240 means there was some pretty good batting. The innings by Sunny Sahal, obviously the highlight. A couple of little cameos in there as well, and now the bowling and fielding.
In a typical local contest, keeping Bolingbrook in mind, particularly in this region, particularly at this ground, you would never count them on being able to get them rolled up for such a meekly total, chasing this down. Given the game isn't done yet, but such a timid display of batting.
Well, they now need to go at more than 20 runs per over. Patel will continue from the far end. And he's been slapped down the ground by Afzal, but just the single. Chima just using the pace to run it backward a point for a single.
As a bowling side, as a defending unit, when you got the bowlers applying that immense amount of pressure up front, you can bring anyone on to bowl, and it may not matter.
And at this stage, they're not even really thinking of chasing down this target. It's really just batting practice from this point on. Again, a big shot, but he's picked out long on. Another single.
It's quite interesting that it hasn't really been the shot selection or getting unlucky with the line and length, rather not being able to connect at all.
True, short ball, and it's going to be another dolly of a catch to Adil Bhatti. So another miss hit off a short ball. Bhatti takes his second catch. Another wicket for Patel. Finishes the over 2 for 9 off 2.
Impressive with the ball, impressive with the fielding, carrying through the stats from the yesterday's game. Adil Bhatti, that is.
And he's going to bowl out here, his fourth and final. He's bowling 4 on the trot.
Conceding merely 7 only for 1 wicket at the economy of 2.33. And on that note, Jamie, their most expensive bowler has gone for 6 as an economy, which was Neil, who has bowled 2 overs, and everybody on this scorecard as a bowling unit have been nothing less than impressive.
Abdullah Adil is the new batsman striding out to the middle. He'll be at the non-strikers end though for the new over. Oh, big shot this time. The swivel hook, he got plenty on it. And that's gone all the way, I think, for 6. And we might be calling for the new ball. For another new ball that's gone deep into the jungle. The fielder down there doesn't look all that keen to go wading into that long grass. Of course, the Bolingbrook alligator is a real danger in these parts.
Jamie, that's why I'm not much of a jogger, runner, cycler into these crazy wild woods, as you described as jungle. But this was a rare instance of the ball having been lost in this particular inning. We had quite a few of those when Kings were batting. And I'm hinting at the big shot making skills that the Kings possessed versus the Bolingbrook Cricket Club.
So 45 for 6 now. And that's, well, that won't please Adil Bhatti. Been hit for 6 in that way. It was the first delivery he bowled around the wicket, and perhaps no surprise that he's decided to go back over the wicket. It was working for him. I'm not sure why he decided to change it anyway. This time, a high bouncer, that's going to be called wide. Rightly so. It was well over Afzal's head in his regular stance. So 46 for 6.
Required run rate for Bolingbrook is at 22.19.
Oh dear, wides down leg side. Adil Bhatti, perhaps he shouldn't have bowled out his final over. It's gotten a little bit messy. And that's wide +2, 3 wides.
Jamie, speaking of the delay and the perceived tardiness, and as well as perceived relaxation in this particular format, as well as the league, I do not think it does justice to the development of the cricket for these players to make it big, because they have been allotted. They should be able to finish the game within the 3 hours. Despite the starting time, I'm just looking at particularly the overrun rate.
This one is slapped away over the offside for 4. So a big over this one for Bolingbrook. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and it's a pet peeve of mine. Every match in this country of the T20 format seems to run well over time. And there's a few basic things that teams can do to help themselves out. One thing I always tell teams is get your bowlers to mark their bowling run-up before the game starts. That way, every time there's a bowling change, we don't have to wait for the bowler to walk back and measure his run-up and put his mark down and do a practice run-in. Mark it before the start of play. Also, make sure, as a captain, as a team, you know where your fielders are going to stand for particular bowlers, for particular batsmen that they're bowling to. Have plans in place, so at the start of the over, you know, Adil Batty's coming on, he's bowling to a right-hander, this is where I'm going to be fielding. Instead, again, we see bowling changes happen, and the captain stands there for 5 minutes setting his field. In my mind, it's just unacceptable, and we're trying to, you know, grow the sport in this country. As a non-cricket person, it would be frustrating, I think, to watch so much standing around and games that go over time. I mean, I know as someone that didn't grow up with American football, people who are new to the sport get so frustrated with those times when there's no action and when there's ad breaks, etc., etc. Driven down the ground, more runs. In fact, not more runs. Good bit of fielding by Jesse Singh.
Spot on, Jamie. On our last point, given the lack of interest, despite the fact that the first international game of cricket on the soil of this country happened 100 years ago, and the lack of development, the only reason we've been able to sort of seemingly getting the interest back is the shorter format. So we ought to be able to finish it within the allotted time, which rhymes well with the baseball game.
Hey! Got him! Top of middle stump from mid-off, Jesse Singh. All class.
When you've got things going for you, everything seems to go well. Look at that throw. Look at that direct hit. An easy run out. Bolingbrook losing their 7th for 57. .5 overs remaining. Beg your pardon. 12 overs completed. 8 overs remaining. Needing 185 with 50 balls remaining with 4 wickets in hand, with the required run rate of 22.65.
Then it was 4-4.
Is that Romani?
Dot and then a run.
I'm just going to say Romani.
Dot and then dot. And then a run out.
So Patel continues. Big swing into the leg side. There's no fielder there. One bounce 4. In fact, it may be 6. It is in fact a 6. Change of call.
Who's changing this team? Nobody.
Why did we lose the feed on this TV?
Yeah, somebody's changed. I don't know. Maybe it's automatic. Huh? No, I don't have any access.
So second 6 for Afzal. Started to get his iron. And this time the man at long on would do the tidy up work. Just the single. So Romani will come down to face his first ball. So things just quietly drifting here. Kings 11 picking up the odd wicket. Afzal hitting the odd 6. But not a lot happening in between. Plenty of dot balls. Be interesting to have a look and see the percentage of dot balls in this innings. It really has been the dot balls that have killed Bolingbrook's chance of getting anywhere close to this total.
Clouds hovering over this beautiful BPL stadium. It's been a hot day. A moment of relief for the fielders out in the field. Light rain in the play at the moment. Doesn't seem anything big enough to delay or halt the game that we have on hand. Should be a pass by shower given the blue skies that we're still able to see.
No, I think it's 6. Sunny Sahal.
Another wicket gone. Into the mid-wicket region, straight down the throat of the fielder. Bolingbrook completely all over the place with this chase. Losing their 8th for 64 at 13.1 overs. Never looked to be in this chase from the get-go. They were well under par with respect to the required run rate, which has been rather under 4.
Sorry, who took the catch? Who took the catch? Who? Catch? No, who took the catch?
Message किया था मैंने कुछ. Please.
Thank you. And the next batsman is Minhaj. And presumably the batsman crossed. No, they didn't.
They didn't.
So 2 dots to follow the wicket.
Pack and run.
So just 2 more wickets required now to end this match. Oi, spinning in, it was relatively close to the off stump. You have to say a pretty good leave in the end. As the thunder rumbles away in the distance. Don't think it's threatening us just yet. Attempted pull is missed. Oh, and this time the straight ball, which again beats the outside end. End of another wicket maiden. And at the end of 14 overs, we'd just like to once again give
a big thanks and a big shout out to our sponsors that have made this event happen. Liberty Medical Centre, your health is our passion. That's a great quote. Pepsi, of course, Gatorade, and the scoring powered by Crick Clubs.
There's a stark contrast between an unhealthy sponsor and a healthy sponsor.
Yes, I'm in.
So a new bowler, Aga Sabir, it looks like, from the far end.
Thank you.
Plies his trade in Washington, as well as obviously Pakistan first class cricket. Left arm orthodox bowler.
As the thunder hovers over, our main cameraman finds a canopy over his head, continuing the good work that he has done in this BPL's inaugural Liberty Cup.
Clipped away off the back foot this time. He'll get a couple of runs. And he's got him. Bat was in the air. He's staring at the umpire, but he's only got himself to blame. He didn't slide his bat. And he's been caught short.
Bolingbrook's chase all over the place with losing 9th wicket for 65. Still needing 177 from the remaining 5.3 overs at a run rate of 33 and above.
And if we have a look at that batting scorecard, it's pretty ugly reading, really. Rashid Afzal, top scorer with 24. Mahmood Chowdhury at the top with 13. The rest all single figures. Wickets falling at 10, 11, 20, 23, 31, 39, 57, 64 and 65. The highest partnership. "18 runs is the highest partnership for the 7th wicket. As a few raindrops begin to come down. And having a look at the bowling figures, the wickets have been shared around. A couple of runouts, of course. Jesse Singh bowled very well at the top, 2 for 4 from his 2. Neil now has 2 for 12 from 3. Adil Bhatti, well, his figures got spoilt somewhat, but it was a fantastic spell, 1 for 25.
As we say never in this fraternity, Jamie, this is a lost cause, isn't it?
Well, I'm never going to say never, but yes, it is a lost cause. Yeah, I just said it's a lost cause. Big shot down the ground, forget about it. He's connected solidly. That's a 6. So the number 11 batsman has already managed to outscore half of his top order.
Overall?
5 overs remaining. Bolingbrook needing 171 with no wickets in hand. Here we go.
Decent shot this, flicking it off his legs. Only going to get one though. As the rain clouds threaten to come closer and closer, although hopefully they'll slide past to the south of us. The wind picking up in intensity. Called wide this time.
Irrespective of the end result at this time, at this stage of the game, they have to be able to score as much and be able to end the game with some respectability. Because net run rate may come in picture, but this might be a massive blowout.
Big shot into the leg side. That will clear the boundary. Bit of confusion. Did it carry the rope or not? I'm not sure why boundary fielders never signal. And it is in fact a 4. Another big one. This time the fielder does signal straight away.
Little too late perhaps, but what a gorgeous shot that was.
This is Udine, right? So how was Udine on strike? Because Ahmed hit a 6 the last ball of the last over, right?
Yeah.
And then there's been a single.
Yep.
And then a wide.
Yeah. Then he hit a 4, 6, and then a 1 again.
Yeah, but Ahmed should have been on strike.
Run is on second ball. And then over. That got over after that.
No, there was a 6, right? He hit a 6 at the last ball of the last over.
Yeah.
Right? Then Udine is on strike. And there's been a single, so he's gone off strike.
Yep.
Here we go, folks. Sun peeking out.
Right? Then there's a wide, he's still on strike. There's a dot, he's still on strike.
The scare from the weather halting or delaying this amazing tournament has been dissipated. Thunder still rumbles in the background as it moves further away, but we have got
Never mind, I think I had it right.
sunshine on the
I
ground.
think I had it right, I'm just confusing myself.
You have it right on the screen.
Look at the cloud. Look at the cloud. This is God's blessing. Look at it down the road.
I know, it's just going past the south.
I just said that, yeah.
Good intentions.
Yeah.
Good reward.
Yeah, I'm great. Once this game finishes, I'll head one.
सब खत्म हो गया सब कोई कोई नहीं कोई सब लोग there's only Gatorade. There's no water.
We'll come get. I have ice. I have water. Replenish that. Pick up all the garbage.
Okay.
He's busy. Clean up after that. Thank you.
So this could be one of those rare occasions where the number 11 batsman ends up being the top scorer. Another single down the ground for Ahmed. And you've got to ask the question, why didn't he come in sooner?
That was my exact question. Because he did the same thing yesterday.
Jamie, a word of advice from you on how one side recovers from this thumping.
You've just got to put it out of your mind. It's just one game. You've come up against a tough opposition who are on top of their performance. Swing and a miss to end the over. 8 runs from it. 94 for 9. So Bolingbrook threatening to get into triple figures here.
Here we go with Kings 11's scorecard on the screen, folks. An extremely effective and impressive display from the entire bowling unit. Pick of the bowlers being Najaf and Jesse, who set the tone right up front with economy on the lower side of the house and taking wickets at the regular intervals, and never really truly allowed any of the top order batsmen from Bolingbrook to get going. And the latter stage of the game, the other bowlers came in and carried the task. Okay, let's just keep it here. Jamie gets a donut for his outstanding commentating throughout the day.
So Ahmed is now officially the top scorer from number 11 in the Bolingbrook innings. And he's going to have more runs here. Another couple. So we've seen some remarkable cricket today, and not least of all, the number 11 being top scorer.
Quite an impressive and interesting statement from the bowling side when your 11th goes on to score the highest amongst everyone. Falls short of the fielder in no man's land while they run for a single. Over at the long on region.
Brings their best batsman back on strike. And he's been given. Umpire Malala puts us all out of our misery. The final wicket for Bolingbrook. They finish exactly 100 all out in 18.2 overs, so they fall 142 runs short of victory. That ends a very successful match for Kings 11. They're 2 from 2. Bolingbrook are none from 2. And that means that the matches tomorrow will be very interesting, and there is a good chance that 3 teams could finish on the same points, and it will come down to net run rate.
A blowout, a thumping, an authoritative win by the Kings 11 versus the Bolingbrook. A comprehensive win by 143 runs. Bolingbrook never seemed to get going, and Kings bowlers applied a lot of pressure from the get-go.
Well, we knew that they were a strong side on paper, but it's one thing to be strong on paper, it's another thing to go out there and perform and do the basics well. That's exactly what they did. They played their shots with precision. They ran well between the wickets. They put partnerships together. And then when they came out to defend, the impressive total that they put on the board were very, very impressive. Particularly the quick bowlers at the front, I thought. The left-arm quick from Pakistan was very impressive, didn't take a wicket. Jesse Singh, very impressive, 2 wickets for, I think it was only 8 of his 2 overs. Adil Bhatti was impressive until his last over, where he kind of lost the plot a little bit. The catching, the fielding, the run-outs, it all happened really. Like I think at one stage you said, when it's your day, everything kind of goes for you. And that's certainly what happened today for Kings 11. And for Bolingbrook, well, they just have to put this performance behind them. They came up against a red-hot team. That happens sometimes. Even in the highest form of the game at international level, it just happens sometimes where you get an absolute pasting from someone. They need to put it out of their mind, move on. Tomorrow, a big game for them. There is still an outside chance, if they win big against the combined 11, that they could sneak through to the semi-finals. So still all to play for them.
Congratulations to Kings for a comprehensive victory against Bolingbrook. Commiserations to Bolingbrook. Like Jamie mentioned, they still have an outside chance to making to the semis if they actually come above on top against the combined 11, who had a really good outing today. So we expected a little bit more of a contest. This was an exciting match from Kings' batting display perspective. We want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, our fans online on Facebook, as well as youtube.com/BPL Cricket. We thank BPL's management. We thank our broadcasters who have been tirelessly working for the last 2 days to bring us this amazing live telecast. And we will be back for the third and the last game of day 2 in this BPL's inaugural Liberty Cup at 8 p.m., which is going to be quite a contest. So we do want you to join us back, and that is a game that will be between United versus Freedom Fighters. We'll take a break and we will see you at 8 p.m. Thank you.